Hi everybody, it's the Abstractionist. Long time no see, right? Okay, so this is Tarot Moss Day 1. Yes, so this is going to be 5 days of videos starting on the 20th. So this is getting uploaded actually pretty early as far as that goes, almost a week early. But decided to do it because I am kind of like jazzed up right now. It's like 4 o'clock in the morning almost, and I'm off of school. Semester's wrapped up. I have a lot of like personal shit going on, but it is what it is. So I really want to talk to you guys about different things that I'm doing, and so each day is just like a different kind of like thing that I'm talking about or whatever. So yeah, so day 1 is just like books that I want to get into in 2026 and go from there. So 2026, let's do 2025. 2025, I read more books, but for my actual degree. So I'm getting an MFA in creative writing. Specifically poetry is my concentration. So this semester I read like 13 books, like a book a week for like a fiction class, like a short fiction class. Short novel class is what it was kind of called. And then I read poetry books because it's my thesis year, and thesis year is the year that you create your creative body of work and your original creative body of work. And so I needed to get like inspiration and all that kind of shit going with that. So that's what I did as far as reading. I didn't do any spiritual reading. I didn't do really any spiritual work. I didn't do any exploration of it. You guys saw this channel was shit. Like it really like had nothing. Like the bare minimum like stuff, and it's just changing in practice and all that kind of stuff. So that was 2025. 2026, I do want to explore a lot more, especially since like the second half of the year, I'll have graduated and done like others, you know, like gone off to do other things. So 2026, anticipating getting more into my practice and figuring out like the things that I'm interested in doing related to that. Anyway, so these are the books that I have in person that I want to explore. There's one that, let's just get out the way, that I have, but I don't know where it is right now. And I'll tell you what it is. So it is, because it's on here. It's on here, I thought. Interesting. Let me see. Okay. Interesting. They definitely changed the, there it is. Okay, cool. So the first book that I'm going to mention is African American Herbalism, A Practical Guide to Healing Plants and Folk Traditions by Lucretia Van Dyke. You can find this on Amazon. So I have this book. I am African American, meaning a descendant of U.S. chattel slaves, chattel slavery as a kind of concept. So my family has like links and roots in the American South, and I would like to get deeper into that. So I'm getting deeper into like lineage and heritage and learning about lineage and heritage, but also I want to learn about the plant life in connection to my lineage and heritage. So I picked up this book for personal like study, stuff like that. So that's one of the books, and then like any resource that I kind of can find, I'll go from there. Next up, I have quite a few books, herbalism as a result, also in addition. This one is not herbalism specifically, but it's aromatherapy. So also I was a massage therapist and a pharmacy technician. So this is kind of like almost an offshoot of all of that, because you can definitely use like essential oils for different purposes, especially in massage. You use them for different blends and massage oils and practices and, sessions. So, getting into this, learning about it, I also am interested in perfume making, like a little bit. So, kind of figuring out like the different oils, what they do, uplifting and all that kind of stuff would be helpful. So, this is like where I am with that. Aromatherapy Bible. This is like, you can get a whole bunch of these, like probably cheap at like one of those like thrift kind of places. I got it cheap because it was $4 at Barnes and Noble. They regularly put things like these books on sale. There's like a series of them. Like I think I have one for massage. They have like for religion. They have like a whole bunch of like different topics that you want to like learn about, usually in like the wellness kind of vein. So you can definitely find these. If not in Barnes and Noble, on Amazon, at like those vintage, like those thrift bookshops, like I said, you can find them. So it has a bunch. Next, I have How to Grow Your Own Food, Illustrated Beginner's Guide to Container Gardening. So I have a bunch of seeds and I want to like grow them. I want to grow like some of the basic ones to eat. And then I also want to grow herbs to make like burning like bundles, right? Like sage bundles, but like not sage, like some other stuff. I want to like do that so bad. I want to do that so bad. But yeah, I have to plan out my garden. So it's been like 2 years. So when my grandmother died, I was like, yes, I'm going to do this gardening thing. And then like 2024 like rolled around, came and went. 2025 came and went. So 2026, I'm like, this is a thing. So this is what I'm trying to do. Grow food and herbs and stuff like that and use them. Next up, I have The New American Herbal by Stephen Orr. So this one, I really like. So I'm a sucker for when a book has like photos like this, and the way that it's designed. I just am a sucker for it. But I definitely want to study plants that have been brought to the U.S. and that are native to the U.S. I think it's important. I think that living in the U.S., there's a lot of biases that people have about the U.S. in terms of like agricultural breadth and integrity and things like that. It's the same way with like diet. They think that every American eats burgers and fries, and that's not true. I do. But like there are people who eat way healthier than the average person abroad. Like way healthier. And they're way more conscious about what they eat too. So there's like misconceptions and stuff like that. And then there's also this idea, which is kind of interesting because we always talk about natives, but then when we come to conversations like this, we tend to like, I don't know if like it's the decolonial kind of thing that we're doing, but we also disregard like the breadth of like what is here as indigenous like crops, but then also like what was brought here and what grows well here. We tend to like disregard that. I don't know what that's about. Pluto and Aquarius may reveal more of that, but I just don't understand what's going on with that, but whatever. So we'll leave that. Next I have essential herbs. So this is this is what it looks like. So it kind of like shows you what it looks like, the parts of it, how to use it, all this kind of stuff. I think things like this are important because you want to know what things look like. Oh yeah, that was the part that also pissed me off about this book a little bit, is that they have half of it is like recipes to stuff, and I'm like, girl, I want more like herb stuff. Like, girl, like they going into recipes about cleansers, foot scrubs, bit like power avocado salad. Like, girl, I don't want that. Like, so if you're interested in this book, half of it is about the herbs. The other half are recipes for things. But there's a lot of overlap between this book and the other two books that I showed you, especially like the herbal one by Stephen Orr. So I have that. The last one that I have for herbal medicine is the Encyclopedia of Herbal Medicine by the same publisher, GK. So this one is pretty much all, and I think you can it's more like I said, an encyclopedia, so it's not necessarily nearly as much information. Each thing doesn't get its own like page really, but you have breadth of knowledge based on this. So yeah, I really want to get into this. I think I also there's a need to narrow down what spiritually I need to work with, and that will help me. Also trying to plan like plants. Like, I have plants in here, and like I try to be observant of what grows in here and what doesn't. Like, if I buy a new plant and it doesn't work out, I try to be conscious of like not getting that again. And I'm starting to look into like the classes of plants that do well in my house, because orchids don't do well in my house. Like, I guess for the environment, they don't work. Like, it has not flowered since I've gotten it. It hasn't completely died, but it hasn't flowered in here. And then surprisingly, I had like a tomato plant that I kept in the house, and it like grew and ripened in the house. And I was like, why are nightshades able to grow in my house? What kind of energy does my house have that nightshades grow? Like, what? So those are the things that I'm interested in, herbal kind of things. So other books interested in. So there's one, and it's not looking too great, but it's called African American Old Remedies. Geraldine Johnson Carter. Don't know about that. That one that's got under 4 stars. But there is one called Working the Roots: Over 400 Years of Traditional African American Healing by Michelle E. Lee. That is one that I've been eyeing for a little bit. So once I kind of go through these, I might get this one, because this is specific. Like I said, I'm African American, so I would want African American based kind of things. So there's that. Okay, so outside of that, I am kind of leaning back to the healing arts. So I'm thinking about a book or 2 or 3 or 4 that I am considering for those kind of studies. So one of them is Mojo Working: The Old African American Hoodoo System by Katrina Hazard Donald and Cheryl Palmer, or Sherelle. I'm interested in this because I'm interested in diving deeper into hoodoo, and particularly doing research about hoodoo and its remnants and the states that my family's from. So I know that it would be big, like south of where I live, Maryland, but definitely the deep south it would be. But I'm interested in like my family's like home states and stuff like that, how it works. Another book I'm interested in getting is Black Magic: Religion and the African American Conjuring Tradition by Yvonne Chouinard. This is kind of interesting to me. I'm not interested in necessarily getting books that have spells or incantations or anything. I just want to learn about like the history of it, because I kind of feel like I know where my interests lie with like hoodoo working and stuff like that specifically. Another book is Working Conjure: A Guide to Hoodoo Folk Magic by Hoodoo Sin Moise. That's one. And then Conjuring the Calabash seems interesting. The only thing with doing like looking into hoodoo is that it's like every ATR, African traditional religion, like gets tied into it, and that kind of annoys me because it's not like it's closed off and that there is no bleeding over, but like I just hate the like I hate when people like mix a whole bunch of stuff and then like because you're black, they just like all of the stuff, all of the traditions, and it's like I remember I was watching something and he was like, if they're saying like Ashe and shit, like that's not hoodoo at all. Like that's something completely different, and they're not like 100% in the hoodoo thing. Like they may be like doing that and something else, which is fine, but it's just kind of like when you're trying to learn specifically about like hoodoo, like throwing in Ashe does kind of throw you off track a little bit. So I'm like, you know, so there's that. And I think I've just kind of gotten more intrigued by the massage journey, the journey like I had when I got that Yoruba word that meant bride, and I was like, what the hell is happening here? That seeking is like coming back or whatever. And yeah, we'll kind of go with there. And then I think I'm going maybe back to my like massage roots, which is kind of annoying as fuck to be honest, but like going back in that direction, which I'm just like, what's happening? Other books, I'm kind of looking through this. Conjuring of America, Mojos, Mermaids, Medicine, and 400 Years of Black Women's Magic. And this is another thing, because they always mention West Africa. No one ever mentions Central Africa. Like, oh my God, like, that's another gripe of mine. Like, we never learn about Central Africa's contribution to African American culture. It's always West Africa. Like, God damn, like, that's like, oh my God, like, we're African American. We have far-reaching roots and far-reaching, like, like far-reaching roots. Like, when it comes to, like, the influences, like, hoodoo also contains, like little pieces of Judaism and Islam, and like, oh my God, like it's annoying. So anyway, so The Conjuring of America is one book, and then I'm not really interested in this. This is like art stuff, and I'm just trying to make sure. Oh yeah, okay. Root work using folk magic of Black America for love. What does it say? Love, money, and success. Tiana Lee McKellar. They wrote something else. Ah, yes, the Hoodoo Tarot. There we go. I was like, they wrote something else. Yes, the Hoodoo Tarot. Okay, cool. I think that's all for the books. Just double check. Yeah, that's all for the books. Okay, so that's what I want to dive into. That's what I want to explore. Thank you for watching. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.